Some families have golden children. Mine had a full-blown golden shrine. Her name? Emily. My younger sister by 4 years. Former prom queen, future neurosurgeon, if you believe her Instagram bio. The apple of everyone's eye. The glittering trophy of the Reynolds family legacy. And me? I was the spare key they kept under the doormat. Convenient, replaceable, usually forgotten. I wasn't always the disappointment, though. Growing up, I did all the right things, or tried. Honor roll, no detentions, first job at 16. I even taught Emily how to ride a bike while our parents were busy updating their Facebook statuses with her ballet recital photos. But it never mattered. By college, I was the invisible one. The one who just went to trade school. The one who fixes pipes, I think, according to my aunt at every Thanksgiving dinner. It was fine, really. I'd made peace with it. Sort of. I got certified in HVAC and electrical work, saved up, and found a modest one-bedroom unit above a quiet print shop. Not glamorous, but it was mine. I liked the creaky stairs, the smell of fresh ink in the morning, and the fact that nobody told me to take out the trash like I was still 15. For the first time in my life, I felt like I had something of my own. Cue the cosmic punchline. It started with little things. My mom would accidentally forward me listings for luxury apartments across town. My dad would ask, "Still living in that shoebox?" Every time we spoke, usually around tax season, when he remembered I existed. Then Emily started visiting. Not for me, of course. She said the natural light in my apartment was to die for, and brought her little rescue Pomeranian named Machi, who wasn't potty trained and thought my couch was a fire hydrant. She stayed for 2 weekends. Then 2 more. Then I came home one day to find her giving a virtual makeup tutorial in my living room with a ring light blasting like it was the sun. "I just need a few weeks," she said, swirling lip gloss. "The dorms are like so not it right now." My parents thought it was cute that we were bonding. They didn't see the stack of utility bills she knocked over, the noise complaints, or the week she borrowed my debit card for emergencies, which somehow translated to $197 of oat milk lattes and lash extensions. Still, I kept quiet. That was my role, right? The calm one. The responsible one. The one who didn't make waves. Until one Monday morning, I got a knock on the door. It wasn't Emily. It wasn't a neighbor. It was my landlord. With a manila envelope. He couldn't even look me in the eye. "Sorry, Evan," he mumbled. "Nothing personal." I opened the envelope. Eviction notice. Effective in 30 days. I blinked. There must be some mistake. I've never missed a payment. "You haven't," he said, scratching his neck. "But the lease was bought out." "Bought out?" "Paid in full. 6 months' worth." "By who?" He didn't answer. Just nodded toward the curb and walked away. That night I got my answer. Mom called. Bright and cheery. "So, don't be mad," she chirped, the same tone she used when she accidentally donated my childhood baseball cards. "But your father and I had a little chat with Mr. Callahan. My landlord." My stomach sank. "You what?" "Well, sweetie," she said, "Emily really needed her own space. You know how stressful finals are. And that building has such lovely light, plus it's near the yoga studio she likes." "Wait, are you telling me you paid off my landlord to give my place to Emily?" A pause. Then, "We just thought it made sense. You don't even use half the space. You're always working." I stood there in stunned silence, staring at the walls I'd painted myself, the shelves I'd installed, the chair I'd fixed 3 times. "And you didn't think to tell me?" "Oh, honey," she sighed. "We didn't want to upset you." Too late. I didn't scream. Didn't throw anything. I just felt this slow, cold detachment crawl over me. Like someone had changed the locks on more than just my front door. I looked around the apartment. My apartment. My sanctuary. Soon to be Emily's new content studio. I hung up without another word. Then I started packing. I moved out quietly. No dramatic farewell, no teary scene in the hallway. Just boxes. Lots of them. And duct tape that kept sticking to itself because I was too shaky to fold it right. It took 2 days to pack everything I owned, less than I expected. Funny how much space you fill when you're trying to feel settled. And how little you actually have when it's time to go. I left the walls bare, except for the small patch where I'd painted over a crack with the wrong color. Emily could have that. She'd probably call it distress chic, anyway. And then I was gone. Where did I go? An unfinished garage apartment behind my buddy Jordan's house. He was the kind of friend who never asked questions, just tossed me the keys and said, "The water heater screams like a demon. You'll get used to it." The insulation was non-existent, the bed was a glorified camping cot, and there was no Wi-Fi. But it was mine. Again. And that was enough. Jordan's backyard had an old rusted swing set and a dog named Pickles who thought I was a tree. Still better company than most people I was related to. I didn't tell my parents where I went. Didn't tell Emily either. And for a while, it was radio silence. Like I'd simply evaporated. Or maybe they just assumed I was fine because I always had been. I was the resilient one. The "you always land on your feet" one. Translation: "We can walk all over you and you'll survive." Jordan offered beer and a couch. I took the beer. Then the couch. Then started mapping out blueprints on napkins. Not of revenge yet. Of blueprints. Literal ones. You see, HVAC was just my job. But property? That had always fascinated me. I'd been slowly saving for a fixer-upper for years. Every overtime shift, every gig fixing somebody's busted central air in the middle of July, that money wasn't for fun. It was for freedom. That eviction? It hurt. But it also kicked something awake in me. So I started checking listings harder than ever. Not apartments. Not rentals. Units. Buildings. Entire structures. And then I found it. A 3-story mixed-use corner building near my old place. Not far from the print shop where I used to get free coffee for fixing their thermostat. The place had a closed-down bakery at the bottom, 2 units above, and 1 very motivated seller. The timing? Suspiciously perfect. The price? Rough around the edges, just like the building itself. But I had just enough. Barely. I would have had more if I hadn't once paid for Emily's emergency tuition deposit because Mom's card was acting up. But I scraped it together. Drained every side hustle savings, maxed what I was comfortable with. The moment I signed the papers, I didn't feel triumphant. I felt still. Like all the noise of what my family thought I should be just went quiet for once. I didn't call anyone. Didn't brag. Didn't even tell Jordan until the second pizza box hit the floor and I blurted out, "I just bought a building." He choked on his crust. "Like a Lego one?" "Nope. Bricks, roof, mortgage. The works." He blinked. "Dude. You were living in my garage 3 weeks ago." "Yep." He stared at me for a second, then handed me another beer. "You're insane." "I love it." And just like that, things started moving. I hired contractors. Some friends. Did a lot myself. Rewired half the place with nothing but a headlamp and a playlist called "Wrench It Like Beckham." The old bakery? I leased it to a guy who makes sourdough that could make your grandma cry. The top unit? Rented. The second one? I kept that. My space. My walls. My locks. Mine. 3 months passed. Emily had fully moved into my old apartment, now redecorated in shades of blush pink and overpriced faux fur. She posted a full YouTube tour titled, "Manifesting My Dream Apartment, with Natural Light and NO Roommate Sparkles." Yeah. Manifesting. Not a single mention of how her dream apartment used to belong to her brother. The one who paid rent on time. Who patched the bathroom leak. Who gave up everything so she could twirl in her ring light like it was a music video shoot. But hey, at least Machi got his own drawer. Meanwhile, my parents acted like nothing had happened. Which, in their minds, it hadn't. Because I hadn't complained. I hadn't shown up at their doorstep. I hadn't even so much as sent a "thanks for the betrayal" card. And that, to them, meant they'd won. But I wasn't playing their game anymore. I was busy turning my new life into something permanent. The top-floor tenants loved their view. The sourdough guy downstairs added coffee and had lines out the door. And me? I installed a vintage record shelf, fixed up a 70s leather couch someone left on the curb, and hung a tiny plaque near the door that read, "Don't forget who pays the mortgage." It was meant for me. But life has a wicked sense of humor. Because that's when the text started. First from Mom. "Mom. Hey, honey. Just checking in, smiling face with smiling eyes, how's everything going?" Then Dad. "Dad. You still doing that maintenance stuff?" Then Emily. "Emily. Hey, do you remember how you hung that shelf in the old kitchen? Can you maybe come by and fix it? It's kinda slanted?" I didn't reply. Not out of pettiness. Okay, maybe a little out of pettiness. But mostly, I was just done. Done being the helper. The free labor. The he'll always come through guy. The one who fixes things while they're too busy posting. #family goals. Jordan found it hilarious. Dude, they have no idea you live 2 blocks from them now. I'm the ghost of HVAC past, I said. I haunt their plumbing. But eventually, things took a turn. Emily's lease, it seemed, was month to month. Something I hadn't realized when I lived there because I never planned to leave. Apparently, she wanted to lock in a longer term, now that she'd fully vibed with the space. So she asked our parents to talk to the landlord again. She had plans. After all. A new podcast. A product line. A tiny desk concert, maybe. That's when I got the call. From Mr. Callahan? Yes, my former landlord. He sounded nervous. Hey, Evan, hope you're well. I was eating soup. Sure. What's up? So, odd thing. Your family reached out. Said they wanted to renew the lease for your sister, long term. I said nothing. He cleared his throat. Here's the thing. I sold the building a few months ago. Oh yeah? I said, casually flipping a piece of bread in my soup. Who's the new owner? Pause. You are. I smiled. Yep. Longer pause. Well, she's gonna ask for an extension. What should I tell her? I leaned back in my chair. Tell her the new owner's reviewing all applications. No promises. He laughed nervously. Cold, man. Just business. I ended the call. Then I opened a fresh spreadsheet titled Tenant Renewal Plan, Unit 2. Under Current Occupant. I wrote Emily Reynolds, application pending. Under Notes, I added Slanted shelf. Per lease etiquette. Loud dog. Ring light usage is questionable. Jordan nearly spit out his drink when I showed him. You're really doing it, huh? No, I said. I'm just giving her a fair chance. Like she gave me. The thing about karma? Sometimes it arrives with a clipboard. Emily hadn't gotten her lease renewal yet. And from the noise on social media, she wasn't taking it well. One passive-aggressive Instagram story said, Some landlords are just threatened by strong women in media nail polish. Another one? How am I supposed to record my podcast if I'm being pressured to move every month? And the captions kept coming. But I wasn't rushing anything. I wasn't evicting her. I was just giving her a taste of uncertainty. The kind I had felt when a stranger showed up with an envelope and a 30-day countdown. Poetic, really? Meanwhile, my parents started sniffing around. It started with a voicemail from my dad. Hey champ, heard you've been busy. Just checking in. Call me back, okay? Nope. Then Mom tried texting me photos of Machi in various costumes. One was a hot dog. One was a tiny cowboy. One just said, Miss your face. I stared at it for a full minute before putting my phone back down like it was cursed. I wasn't angry anymore. I was just over it. So when they showed up outside my new building one Sunday morning, I wasn't shocked. They were Just in the neighborhood, they claimed. Emily in tow. With sunglasses on and a match she hadn't paid for. They looked up at the bakery sign, the newly painted trim, the blooming window boxes. Oh wow, Mom said, forcing a smile. This place looks fancy. Very professional, Dad added, as if I was a teenager who just assembled a Lego skyscraper. I crossed my arms and leaned on the railing. What brings you here? Oh, Mom waved it off. We just wanted to see your, what do you call it, your project? And actually, she glanced at Emily, who was pretending not to eavesdrop while adjusting her sunglasses. We heard the building was under new ownership. Dad jumped in. So we thought, maybe you know the guy. Maybe put in a good word. Emily's having trouble reaching him. I tilted my head. You want me to help Emily reach the new owner? They all nodded. I pulled a small keyring from my pocket and gave it a casual spin on my finger. Then held it up. And watched three faces freeze and sink like a paused sitcom. Wait. Emily started. Mom squinted. Dad took a half step back, blinking. Surprise, I said with a smile. Turns out the HVAC guy can read contracts too. Emily's jaw hung open. You own this building? Yep. For how long? Since the week you filmed your manifestation tour. Dad muttered. Well, I'll be damned. Mom tried to recover. Well, honey, wow. That's impressive. Really? You should have told us. We would have celebrated. I raised an eyebrow. Like you celebrated evicting me? Silence. Emily opened her mouth but found no words. Just a small, strangled squeak that might have been mocha or oops. I didn't give them time to regroup. Instead, I stepped down the front stoop, brushing past them as casually as I could. Tell you what, I said over my shoulder. If she wants to stay, she can apply like everyone else. Market rate, of course. No family discounts. Mom gasped. Dad tried to play mediator. Now come on, Evan. She's your sister. You're right, I said. She is. And then I walked back inside. Jordan, who'd been watching through the bakery window the whole time, greeted me with a raised coffee mug. You just dropped the mic and didn't even raise your voice, he said. Mic drops heavier when it's backed by property deeds, I replied. He grinned. Remind me never to get on your bad side. I just shrugged. I don't have a bad side. Just one that finally stopped being walked on. Emily didn't take the news well. I know this because the next day, she posted a teary-eyed TikTok titled, When Your Own Blood Turns Into Your Landlord Broken Heart #betrayal vibes. I didn't watch it. Jordan did. He sent me a screenshot with the caption. Bro, is that your couch in the background? It was. Still had the patch I'd stitched with a shirt sleeve 2 years ago. Nostalgic, really. By midweek, the guilt campaign had kicked into full gear. First, an email from Emily. Hey, just wanted to say I'm sorry if I crossed any lines. Things just got hectic, But maybe we can talk about the lease? Over coffee? My treat? A peace offering. Or a trap? I didn't respond. Then came Mom. Weaponized Nostalgia Edition. She sent an old photo of us at the county fair. Me holding a giant stuffed penguin I'd won for Emily after she cried when hers got dropped in a puddle. The text underneath? You two were inseparable once. Don't let money come between family. Ah, yes. The sacred family code. You should forgive betrayal, as long as it's conveniently profitable for someone else. Still no response from me. So they escalated. A group text sent to me, Emily, and Dad. Mom, we need to talk. As a family. This bitterness is tearing us apart. Evan, please just come by this weekend. Let's resolve this like adults. Funny. I hadn't been treated like an adult when they gave my apartment away. But sure. Adults. Jordan read the messages while we painted the stairwell. He grunted. They really hit the gas when you hit the deed, huh? Are you gonna go? Maybe. I just need them to see something first. And right on cue, the universe handed me the perfect tool. A letter. From the HOA of their suburban neighborhood. They were behind on fees. I only knew because, once upon a time, I helped them navigate some property stuff. My name was still in a few databases. Somehow, their billing had bounced back to an old contact. I stared at the envelope. Then flipped it over, grabbed a pen, and added a short note in block letters. Forward to building's new owner. You can find him 2 blocks away. The petty joy I felt sliding it into the mailbox was unholy, but deeply satisfying. That weekend, I did go to the family house. Not because I wanted to fix anything. Because I wanted to see if they'd say it. The truth. Or anything close to it. The house was exactly the same. Same garden gnome Emily painted in 5th grade. Same sun-faded welcome mat. Same passive-aggressive wind chime that always made it sound like ghosts were annoyed. Mom opened the door. Her eyes lit up like she'd seen a prodigal son, or at least someone with access to zoning permits. "Evan!" she beamed. "Come in, come in!" Dad gave me a side hug, as if that would erase everything. Emily sat curled on the couch, scrolling. She barely looked up. The living room smelled like vanilla candles and thinly veiled manipulation. We sat. They small-talked. Weather. Work. Machi's new gluten-free treats. Then finally, Mom clasped her hands. "So, about the lease." I held up a hand. "Nope." They blinked. "I'm not here to discuss Emily's lease." Silence. "I'm here to ask one question," I said calmly. "Why?" "Why what?" Dad asked too quickly. "Why did you pay off my landlord and evict me without warning?" Emily shifted uncomfortably. Mom gave a smile that didn't touch her eyes. "We thought it would be easier if—" "Easier for who?" "For everyone," she burst. "Sweetheart, you're always so self-sufficient. We didn't think you'd mind. You didn't think I'd mind losing my home?" "Not losing," Dad interjected. "Relocating." I almost laughed. Instead, I stood up. "Thanks for the honesty," I said. "That's all I needed." "Wait, Evan, don't be dramatic," Mom pleaded. I turned toward the door. "Oh, and check your mail. Might be something important in there." The HOA letter landed Monday morning. I know this because Jordan, who's somehow on a first-name basis with the HOA treasurer after a 3-month feud over mailbox paint shades, texted me at 9:14 a.m. "Jordan, bro. Your mom just had a full-on meltdown at the community mailbox. She dropped her latte." People clapped. I didn't even have to ask. 3 minutes later, he sent me the video. There she was, arms flailing, voice raising, demanding to know. Who in their right mind would forward us this nonsense? A neighbor off-screen yelled. "Check the envelope, Susan," and I had to pause just to laugh. Because in her hand, crumpled and shaking, was the envelope I'd personally forwarded. Right on the front. "Forward to the building's new owner. You can find him 2 blocks away." The best part? It wasn't even petty. It was just accurate. See, their HOA had changed systems. Some old records still had my info listed under authorized contact. I'd removed myself months ago. But a rogue billing statement still bounced my way. And I simply redirected it. With flair. At 11:43 a.m., the phone calls began. Mom Mobile. Mom Mobile 2. Mom Mobile 3. Decline. Decline. Also decline. Then Dad tried. Twice. Then Emily. Then the group chat dormant since. "Happy birthday, Machi!" 6 weeks ago, came alive with, "Mom. Evan. We got your note. What is going on? Why are you getting our HOA letters? This is crossing a line. Call us." Then a second. "Is this because of the lease thing? Please don't make this bigger than it is." "Oh, Mom. This was the smaller version. The version where I let you keep your hydrangeas." I didn't answer. Because honestly, I didn't feel like narrating their consequences to them. I was tired of being the translator for their own behavior. That night, while I grilled hot dogs with Jordan on the roof, he asked, How long you think before they show up again? I chewed thoughtfully. 2 days. 3 tops. Unless the sprinklers break again. Jordan nodded like a war general studying enemy movement. Smart. I'd barricade the stairs. I didn't need to. They didn't come. But on Thursday, the final play arrived, not with shouting, but with subtlety. An email from Emily. Subject: I messed up. No emojis. No dramatic titles. Just lowercase resignation. She talked about pressure. About how she panicked. About how she didn't realize how much the apartment meant to me until she started paying actual rent. How she missed when things weren't so weird between us. She even mentioned Machi had anxiety now. That made me laugh out loud. The dog ate 3 remote controls in a week. He was built different. She ended with, I know I screwed up. But please, if there's any chance I can keep the place, I'll do anything. Just tell me what you want me to do. And for the first time in months I paused. Not because I felt guilty, but because I could feel the shift in her words. She finally wasn't expecting me to fix it. She was asking. Still, I didn't write back. I stood up, walked down to the second-floor unit, and slid a crisp envelope into the mailbox. Inside? A printed tenant application. No fanfare. No threats. No mercy. Just the same lease I offered everyone else. Market rate. 2 references. Security deposit. I attached a sticky note that said, Apply like everyone else. No shortcuts. P.S. The shelf is still crooked. Then I turned, climbed the stairs, and let the door shut behind me. That night, I poured a drink, flopped onto my couch, and opened the group chat. Dozens of unread messages. I scrolled to the bottom and typed just one thing. Evan. Support expired. Application pending. Then I muted the thread. Indefinitely. The application sat untouched for 3 days. Maybe Emily thought ignoring it would make it disappear. Maybe she expected I'd cave. Or maybe she was still hoping Mom and Dad would do what they always did, interfere on her behalf until someone else picked up the pieces. And to be fair, they tried. It started with a long voicemail from Mom that sounded like she recorded it in a cathedral, whispering like she was delivering holy gospel. Evan. Honey. This grudge, it's hurting everyone. You used to be so reasonable. So understanding. You've always been the one who helped. We raised you better than this. Then came the second message from Dad. We need to talk. You're taking this too far now. Emily's your sister. You know how sensitive she is. Just fix it already. And then? The letter. Actual paper. Handwritten. Folded neatly. Delivered in an envelope that smelled like their kitchen. Inside. Dear Evan. We never meant to hurt you. We just wanted what was best for everyone. Please remember, family comes first. We're worried about Emily. She's been struggling. She needs this place. She needs stability. You already have so much. Can't you share just this one thing? That last line? You already have so much. I stared at it for a while. Because that's what they really meant all along. It wasn't that I had too much. It was that they thought I didn't deserve to have more than her. In their minds, my success was something to be redistributed. Taxed emotionally. Guilted into being less, just to keep her feeling enough. But they forgot something. They'd raised me to survive. They taught me that nothing was guaranteed. That help wouldn't come. That I needed to figure it out myself. And I did. So when I finally got more than scraps, I wasn't handing it back. Still, I gave her a chance. On Friday morning, I slipped a final note under her door. No envelope. No preamble. Just a single sentence. Application deadline is Sunday at noon. That was it. She had the weekend. Jordan thought I was being generous. Dude, if someone gave me a 2-day deadline to stay in an apartment I squatted into, I'd bake them cookies. I smirked. She'll send a voice memo with sad piano music. She'll go with guilt first. Then tears. Then weaponized nostalgia. She's learned from the best. Sure enough, Saturday night I got a video from Emily. She was crying. Her eyeliner was perfect though, suspiciously waterproof. She filmed it from the kitchen, my old kitchen, with soft lighting, a tiny violin loop in the background, and Machi whining dramatically off-screen. "I just wanted a home," she whispered. "Is that so terrible?" She talked about being misunderstood. About feeling abandoned. About how unfair it was that I'd weaponized success. She never once said, "Sorry." Just the usual passive framing. "I wish you told me sooner you felt replaced. I didn't realize how important the apartment was to you. It's hard being compared to you all the time." And that was the moment it clicked. She still didn't get it. She thought I was jealous. She thought I was finally asserting myself out of resentment. But it wasn't that. I wasn't angry she got more. I was angry they expected me to accept less, forever, just because I could. I didn't respond. I just waited. And Sunday came. No email. No text. No application. Until 11:58 a.m. 2 minutes before the deadline. My inbox dinged. Subject line: Lease application, Emily Reynolds. Attached the form. Filled out, signed, scanned. No message. Just the facts. I stared at it. Not out of surprise. Out of something closer to peace. Because for the first time, she had to ask to stay. And that alone? That was already more than they'd ever expected her to do. I didn't approve the lease right away. Letting it sit in my inbox for 24 hours felt necessary. Not to punish her. Not to flex power. But to reclaim time. Space. Dignity. She had taken mine. So had they. So I let the silence work. On Monday morning, I opened the file again. It was all there, standard answers. Bland references. Salary listed as content creator, which made me chuckle because I knew her last sponsored post was for reusable dog diapers. No cover letter. No apology. Just a signature. Typed neatly in pink script. Emily Reynolds. The audacity of normalcy. Like none of this had ever happened. Like we were two strangers in a real estate transaction. So I drafted a reply. Short. Clean. Application received. Unit currently under review. Final decision by end of week. And then I moved on. Because bigger things were happening. Things Emily didn't know yet. Things my parents couldn't imagine even if they tried. See, months before, when I'd bought the building, I hadn't stopped there. That was phase 1. Phase 2? Just kicked in. I'd been negotiating with the owner of the neighboring duplex, an older man looking to retire and finally head south for warmer winters. We'd been talking for months. Quietly. And now it was mine. Closed. Sealed. Purchased. And I knew exactly what I wanted to do with it. 3 units. Fully rentable. Quiet street. 2 blocks from my old life, and 1 inch from their idea of control. So I sent out the first official notice, a statement addressed to the HOA and all relevant property owners in the area. It was printed on crisp ivory paper, folded twice, sealed in envelopes stamped with a logo I'd designed myself. And right at the top, bold and clear, Reynolds Holdings LLC. I hand-delivered 1 copy to their address myself. Not out of pettiness. Out of formality. It was slipped under the door just as they were returning from brunch. I saw them through the window, laughing, arms full of mimosas and freeloading. I didn't wait around. I went back to my building, brewed a coffee, sat by the window, and waited. It took 6 minutes. Mom's voice pierced the suburban air like a banshee catching fire. "What is this?" I smiled, leaned back in my chair, and let it ring out. She called first. Then Dad. Then the group chat exploded again. "Mom. Evan. Please explain. What is Reynolds Holdings? Is that your company? Dad. Are you trying to embarrass us? Emily. Wait. Did you name a company after our family?" No reply. Not this time. Because the final step had already been sent that morning, An official lease rejection. Thank you for your application. After thorough review, we've decided to proceed with another tenant better suited for the unit's terms. We appreciate your interest. Best of luck in your search for housing. Signed at the bottom, under the gold and black company header. Evan M. Reynolds. Managing Director, Reynolds Holdings LLC. That signature? That's what made their faces go pale. Because in their world I was always just Evan. The helper. The fallback. The backup plan. But now I was the line they couldn't cross without knocking. Emily moved out the next week. She didn't post a farewell vlog. No goodbye apartment video. Just one quiet Instagram story of a half-packed suitcase and the words. Lessons learned. The next tenant? A quiet teacher named Nora who paid on time and baked banana bread once a month. She didn't have a ring light. Or a dog named Machi. Or a family who treated her housing like a prize. She just appreciated the space. And so did I. Jordan came by that Friday with a bottle of something bubbly and 2 folding chairs. We sat on the stoop as the sun dipped behind the skyline. You know, he said, cracking the seal, I still can't believe you named a company after them. I raised my glass. Me either. We clinked glasses. Then I added with a grin. But it's the first time they ever had to earn the right to carry my name.